Hello everybody, and welcome. This is the Shy Hat, and we're doing HackerFrogs AfterSchool Python Programming Basics. This is the first workshop of this particular course. If you're here for the workshop, please give me a smiley in chat. I love to see smileys in chat. That's how I know that you guys are out there. All right, so before we get started, I'd like to ask you, everybody, if the volume is okay, if you can hear me all right. Please tell me volume okay in chat, just to type it in like this. And if you're new to HackerFrogs, if you have not done a HackerFrogs After School workshop on live stream before, please type new here in chat. But if you've been here before, type in been here before. Okay. Just like that. So while everybody is gathering right now, let's do a little introduction to this course. And if you're a person who is part of Regina's Python course, and you're taking those classes as well, please let me know. Let me know that you're part of Regina's course or not. But this is Python Programming Basics, the intro. Let's get going. So, welcome to HackerFrogs After School. It's a cybersecurity program for learning beginner cybersecurity skills across a wide variety of subjects. This is the intro video to Python programming. I see that Drea is here. Welcome, Drea. I see Accessory is here. Welcome, Accessory. And Drea is also part of Regina's course. Okay, so maybe you might not see too many new things in today's session, but I hope you can get some practice in. So what is programming? According to Wikipedia, computer programming is the process of performing particular computation, usually by designing and building an executable computer program. Put in broader terms, programming is the process of writing instructions for a computer to execute. The instructions can result in output as simple as printing the answer to a simple math equation or word on screen, or as complex as the latest video editing software, games, websites, or countless other pieces of software used in our daily lives. Basically, our lives run a lot on programming, on software at this point. Many different programming languages are used for writing software, and each programming language has its own advantages and disadvantages for developing different types of software. The software language we'll learn to use in these workshops is called Python. There are a lot of programming languages out there, so why are we learning Python? So we'll go over 3 reasons why Python is a good thing to learn. Number 1, Python is a very popular language with an active online community, so there's a lot of support for students. Number 2, Python uses a syntax that is much closer to written English than our other programming languages, so it's easier to read and understand. And number 3, Python automates some tedious operations common to other programming languages, such as memory management. Okay, so everybody... Oh, Layla Foster is also here and is part of Regina's course. Nice to see you here, Layla. All right, so before we begin, I'm going to provide a link in chat. And the link is basically going to be the workshop guide for today's workshop. So it's a PDF document. So you guys, you don't necessarily need to open and follow this document while we're going through the workshop. It's just used as a reference, so that if you guys ever get lost, then we can easily look back into the document and try to reorient ourselves. Okay, so Python is a high-level interpreted general-purpose programming language. What does this mean? So programming languages are classified as either low-level or high-level, depending on how abstract the language is from the pure machine code that computer processors use. Programming in a high-level language has two major effects. First, abstract syntax allows for easier understanding for people who need to read code written in high-level languages and write code using the same. So since Python is a high-level language, we can write in syntax that is a lot easier for us humans to understand. as opposed to instructions that that look a lot more like something out of some sort of technical manual. So, second, due to its high level of abstraction from machine language, processes using high-level languages are relatively slower than the same processes performed by low-level languages. Okay, so we have high-level versus low-level. So high-level languages, in other words, high-level programming languages, the code is easier to write and read, but programs created with that code are slower than programs created with low-level languages. So next we'll talk about how Python is an interpreted language. And interpreted languages are programming languages that do not require compilation before instructions are run. So as opposed to compiled languages, where programming code must be converted into machine code by a compilation program before it can be run. So everybody, so during today's workshop, if you have any questions or if you have any comments, please feel free to type them in the chat for me to see, and then we can discuss. I definitely don't want this to be a very... Well, this is already kind of a one-sided conversation since I'm the person broadcasting, but I would love to hear feedback from all you people as well. So the next thing is that Python is a general-purpose language. So general-purpose programming languages are languages designed to be able to create a wide range of application types. There are some languages that that cater to a very limited set of environments. But Python is one of those that you can use to run all sorts of, and write all sorts of programs. So as opposed to domain-specific programming languages, which are typically used to operate in specialized environments. So HTML is a language that is used only for web pages, and SQL is a language that is used only for databases, as opposed to Python, which is used for a bunch of different stuff. So let's move on to today's workshop. We're going to be learning about Python. Okay, so the first thing we're going to learn is the Hello World program. And the Hello World program is usually the first exercise that students learn. And we're going to learn about the Hello World program first. To complete our Hello World exercise, we'll first go over the Python print function. So this is a very important function to know when we're trying to learn about Python. So the print function. Virtually all programming languages have some method of printing text to the screen, often referred to as the console. In Python, the print function is the primary method of doing so. So here we see the syntax of the print function. So it's print and then parentheses and whatever you want to have printed out in the parentheses. So in today's exercise, what we're going to do is we have two options of how to interact with Python today. The first one I'm going to show you here is JS Linux. So JS Linux is a web browser version of Linux that you can access from the web, and I'll leave the link for that in the chat. So you can paste that link into your web browser, and then you're going to get your own Linux command line. And you can use that to access Python using Python. Just type in Python, and that's going to get you into the Python interactive interpreter right over here. So what I want you to do right now is in another web browser tab, paste in the URL, and then get into your Python interpreter by typing Python in at the command line. So after you've done so, please type in Python ready to go in chat, so I know that you guys have achieved that. So just kind of like this. And you can add some smileys if you like. Okay, Layla Foster is ready to go. Awesome. Okay, Summerella is ready to go. Devilmind, welcome Devilmind, and you are also ready to go. Summerella, Drea, Devilmind, Layla. Okay, that's great. Okay, so let's also, and Gina Griffin is here. Hey, welcome, Gina. All right, so to use the print function, we use the function name print, then a pair of parentheses, then in case what we want printed in either single or double quotes between the parentheses. Okay, so here inside of your console over here, let's make this a little bigger. Let's make this a little bigger for us to see. Okay, so what we can do is we can just do print, and then between the parentheses we can put whatever we want. Whatever we want. Okay, and that's going to print something to the screen. So we can use single quotes, or we can use double quotes. So the great thing about the interpreter is after you press enter, it'll just execute whatever command that you give it. So another common use of the print function is to print the values of variables to the console. In this case, we simply input the name of the variable we want printed between the parentheses. So first we can define a variable, and then we can ask Python to print the variable. So we can say that the variable is this particular string right here. So let's give that a go. So variable equals some text. Okay, so that's not going to output anything because we didn't ask it to output anything. Next we can ask it to print, and then in the parentheses, variable, and it'll print out the value of the variable, which is some text. All right, so now that we know about this, I think we can learn more with Python, learnpython.org. Okay, so we're going to try to work through some exercises in the learnpython.org website. Let me paste this into chat. Can I paste this into chat? Maybe. Let me just go to python.org, where I already am, and then I will paste it in chat for you guys. Okay, so this is the Hello World program. Okay, so you can just click on that, or you can copy that link, and then it'll bring you to the learnpython.org website that we're gonna, and that's where we're gonna. And just in case you see any ads on the website, this website has a lot of ads. You can simply just close these ads. Yeah, there's a lot of ads. So in here we see an interactive Python window, and the great thing about this website over here is that whatever you type into the interactive Python window, you can run it. So if we were to run this, just click on this, and in the IPython shell over here, it says this line will be printed. So depending on the size of your screen, the script tab and the shell tab might be separated. If so, just click on the script tab, and then you can see the code over here, and you can modify the code however you like. So some text, and then run that, and then in the shell it's going to show your output over here. Okay. All right. So if you're ready to complete the exercise, please type in "Hello World" in chat. So the next section over here is talking about indentation and how Python uses indentation for blocks instead of curly braces. In a lot of languages, if you have a code block, it's going to be inside of curly braces, but here it's going to be indented. this isn't really something that you need to pay a lot of attention to right now. Eventually we're going to address this, but just keep in mind that Python does not use curly braces. Python uses indentation for code blocks. So we can skip past this. And the only thing we need to do here is use the print function to print the line, hello world. So we've got our script over here, and we've got our shell over here. What I want you guys to do is use the print function to print the line hello world over here, and when you press the run button, it's going to give you the output that you have successfully completed the exercise. Okay, so I'm going to wait a little bit. I want you all to try to do this by yourselves. So simply modify the text over here so that it prints hello world instead of goodbye world. And if you get the OK after you press the run button, please type in I got it in the chat, followed by a big smiley face. And so once again, if you guys are having any problems or difficulties, any problems with the web browser or the website, please let us know, because I definitely don't want you guys to be left behind while I'm conducting this workshop. I want everybody to succeed together. Okay, DevilMind got it. All right, it's not a super difficult exercise, but let's modify the text over here. We just want to say hello world, and then we run it. And great job. Okay, great. Okay, so we see, let's see, DevilMind completed it. Okay, Layla Foster also completed. All right, good to see, good to see. All right, so we'll wait just a few more seconds to see if everybody else has managed to successfully complete this exercise. Okay, so next let's do a short little quiz. So, part 1, Hello World quiz. When we use the print function to print text, should we use single quotes or double quotes? Okay, we've got A, B, C, and D. Take a look at the screen and take a look at the options. When we use the print function to print text, should we use single quotes or double quotes? Please type your answer into the chat. So I know this might seem a little simple, but it could be that we need to clarify some of these concepts. Okay, Layla Foster says the answer is C. Gina Griffin says C. Drea says C. All right. And Summerella says C. The answer is C. You can use either single quotes or double quotes when you want to print text using the print function. Sometimes you want to use double quotes, and sometimes you want to use single quotes. Either one is correct, and yeah, it doesn't. Well, sometimes you definitely want to use double quotes, and sometimes you definitely want to use single quotes. We'll cover those later. All right, so part 2. We finished part 1 of the workshop. Nice. Let me update my screen. Okay, so workshop progress. We have completed 1 out of 4. All right, Gina Griffin. Hey, thanks for the words of encouragement. Way to go, everybody. Okay, so we're talking about part 2, variables. So virtually all programming languages use variables. So variables are a very important concept to computer programming and Python programming as well. They're storage locations associated with a specific name as well as a value. So take the following as an example. So my name. So my underscore name, this variable, the value is the string shy hat. Okay, so that's my name. I'm the shy hat. All right, so whenever we refer to my name in the code, shy hat will be inserted there. So if we have the following code, my name equals shy hat, it's going to print. We can use the print function to print the variable my name. So everybody, let's Whoops, can I copy this? Yes, I can. All right, so if we have this, oh, this is probably not going to work, but when I paste it in the chat, but let's take a look at the JS Linux. So if we were in here, if I'm going to clear the screen, whoops, oh, that doesn't work. Okay, hold on. So if we were to set the variable my name equals, and we're going to make it a string. Everybody, I suggest you try this yourself with your own name. The Shy Hat is my name, so my name is the Shy Hat. That's the variable. I'm going to print that variable. Print my underscore name. Okay, and that's how we set print a defined variable with the print function. Okay. All right. So the real benefit of using variables in programming is that variables can be referenced multiple times in the same code, saving a lot of time and accounting while writing code. In addition, variables can change value after they've been defined. So maybe we can say my name equals the Shy Hat in one part of the code, and in another part of the code that might change. And when we print the value of the my name variable, it might change in different parts of the code. So for example, say we have an online store program where we sell televisions. Okay, the program has two variables, TV price, which is the price of a television, and current total, which keeps track of the total price in the user's shopping cart. The two variables are set to 199.99 and 0, respectively. However, if a TV is purchased, then the total price variable increases by a value equal to the TV price variable. See the following. So if we write this short program over here, we've got TV price as a variable and current total as a variable over here. And then in the next line, we're going to update current total as the value of current total and add the TV price. And then we're going to print the current total. And the output should be 199.99. Okay, so let's I wonder if you guys can paste this text using this right here. So let's say that we have this right here, this learnpython.org window, right? And we go into the script portion. We can highlight this and we can paste the code. So you might have to reformat it a little bit because it got a little bit mangled when I put it into the chat. But here, this should print 199.99. So if we run this, it's going to print out 199.99, and it says I didn't output the correct things. That's okay. So you guys, I want you to give this a go. So we've got one TV price and one current total, and then current total, I want you to update it through current total plus TV price. So this also covers something that we're going to be covering a little bit later, which is using basic simple math operators with our variables. All right, so if you manage to output 199.99 after using the script, please type in the chat, I bought a TV. So everybody, if you have any questions about variables and how they work, please type in the chat. Also, I want to highlight that our good friend ChatGPT is also really great at explaining programming concepts. So if we were to ask ChatGPT in the Python, what is a variable? And then it's going to give you its big old answer. It's really taking its time thinking about those. All right, so let's move on. Oh, Hachi. Hachi is here. Nice to see you again, Hachi. All right. So next, let's take a look at data types. So this next section is going to talk about variables and data types. So data types are attributes of data which tell the compiler or interpreter how to use the data. So basically, every object inside of Python is going to have a data type, which lets the Python interpreter know what to do with it. The data types covered in this workshop are as follows. Hachi says, I was a little late, sorry. No problem, no problem. I'm happy to see you here. Okay, so we're going to deal with three types of data, three data types in today's workshop. We've got strings, we have integers, and we have floating point numbers. So we've been working with strings previously. So strings are non-numerical characters, or a combination of numerical and non-numerical characters. For example, the name, Mark Twain, or this password over here, which is fancy elite talk, password 123, or just object names, caret. So keep in mind that in Python, all strings have to be encased in quotes, either single quotes or double quotes. So we also have integers. So strings are also known as str inside of Python code. Integers, also known as int in the Python code, these are whole numbers. For example, 1, 255, 1337. These are numbers without decimal points. And lastly, we have floating point numbers, also known as floats. So these are numbers that are accurate to several decimal places. So 0.5 or 12 point something something something, 758. These are the three data types we're going to talk about today. The reason why data types are important is because computers do not inherently know how to interpret data. For example, if we have a program which calculates the average of school grades and adds up all the grades together, then divides them by the sum of the number of assignments, the program wouldn't work if it were given words instead of numbers for the grades. So, because there are data types, we can have the program check that all of the grades are numbers, and if there's a non-number in the input, we can inform the user that the program only accepts numbers for input and prompt the user to input another value. So if this program were to receive a non-number input, it would give an error, and then it would let the user know that they have to put in numbers instead of words for the grades. Okay, so let's move on to the exercise. Okay, so it's going to be the next section in the learnpython.org website. So we would go to the bottom of the page over here, and then we can click on Next Tutorial. And this brings us to the variables in type section. So I'm going to paste the URL in the chat. Okay, so let's learn a little bit about variables and types. So first we learn about numbers. So everybody, feel free to follow along as we're working through these examples over here. So we see that integers, also known as ints, can be printed out, and we don't need quotes in order to print these out because they're numbers as opposed to strings. So if we were to run this, it's going to give us a 7. So because that's expected, because the integer, the variable myInt is equal to 7. Everybody, while you're working through these exercises here, you might see that when you press the run button, that the Python, this program is not hanging on you. It's basically not running. You can always refresh the page if you notice that the interactive Python windows here are not reacting. So you can just reload the page if anything goes wrong. Okay, so next we talk about floating point numbers. So floating point numbers are numbers with a decimal point. Okay, so here my float is equal to 7.0. If you print this, it's going to give you 7.0. But also you can use this this float function to give the float version of 7, which is 7.0. We'll talk about functions a little bit later on. Probably not in this workshop. We'll talk about functions a little bit later on, but just know that when you print, that's also a function. And functions are these commands that you give that have parentheses. That's so if we were to print this, it's going to give us 7.0 twice. So 7.0 twice. Okay, let's move on to the next section. So we're talking about strings. Strings, of course, are words or numbers or combinations that are also encased in the single quotes or the double quotes. We can make the string whatever we want. It could be HackerFrogs. This could be the string, or this other string could be. This other string could be BGH is awesome. Let's do some self-promotion. Okay, so run that. And this is what we get, because these are strings. One thing that we can do to check what data type an object is we can run the type function. So it's just type and then the name of the variable, so myString. So type myString, and this is going to output that it is a string, an str. So output str, because we were asking for type, which of the data type of myString, right? So this is str. Awesome. Okay, so next. The difference between the two is that using double quotes makes it easy to include apostrophes. All right, so if we have to put in, so the thing is if we use single quotes here, and there's also an apostrophe inside of the string, then this is going to produce an error. So if we run this, so it says invalid syntax. That's because Python interprets this second single quote as closing out the quotes over here, and then the rest of this is, it doesn't know what to do with it. So if we put this in double quotes, then we can print this out with the apostrophe over here. Okay, so simple operators can be executed on numbers and strings. Okay, so here, is this the exercise? No, it's not. Okay. So we see here that there's a variable 1, which is equal to the integer 1, 2, integer 2, and 3 equals 1 plus 2. So it's the variable name 1 and the variable name 2. It takes the values of these and it adds them together, right? So it can also do the same with strings. We can do hello plus world. So we have a hello variable, a world variable, and then hello world is going to be equal to hello plus space plus world, and then print that. If we run this, so we get 1 plus 2, which is this, and then we get hello world, which are the strings hello plus world put together with a space. All right. So assignments can be done on more than one variable simultaneously on a line like this. So we can assign the values for variables in this fashion right here. So a comma b equals 3 comma 4. So it prints out a and b as 3 and 4 over here. Generally, I would say, unless you're doing it with a specific purpose, I wouldn't assign variables in this manner. Especially when you're a beginner, this might look a little bit confusing. Okay, and the next thing we have to understand is that mixing operators between numbers and strings is not supported. Okay, so if we have this variable equal to 1 and this variable equal to 2, and we have the hello variable equal to the string hello, we can't print numbers and strings together. If we try, we're going to get an error. Okay, so it says unsupported operand type for for addition, integer, and string. So we can do 1 plus 2, but if we omit hello, then it works. Okay, and now that we get 3 over here, and we can, right. So just what we need to understand right now is that we can't print out strings and numbers together unless you run a special function on, you run a special function on them. So we can print, plus hello. If we specifically want them to print out a string of the value 1 and a string of the value 2, then this will work. This is going to produce 1 and 2 and hello. So 1, 2, hello. That's because we specified to Python that we specifically want the string version of the number 1 and the string version of the number 2. Okay, so we've moved on, and now we're looking at the exercise for this section over here. So the target of the exercise is to create a string, an integer, and a floating point number. The string should be named myString and should contain the word hello. The floating point number should be named myFloat and should contain the number 10.0, and the integer should be named myInt and should contain the number 20. So everybody, I want you to try this out on your own. So set the correct variables and then run the program, and hopefully it'll say that you got the correct answer. All right, so try it out yourself. If you manage to complete the exercise, please type in these variables are a piece of cake, and then smiley face. To anybody watching on Twitch, you can use the redeem command, and I've got a couple of little video rewards set up, such as, let's see, ! redeem, and then it's SJ, S, and then the words J, and it's going to produce a little video. So I think this only works. If you're on Twitch, but if you're on YouTube, you could give this a try yourself. I don't know. I haven't gotten it to work on YouTube yet. But Hachi says these variables are a piece of cake. All right, nice to see. All right, so I'll give everybody about a minute more, and then we'll go over the answer for this exercise. Okay, so let's slowly start to answer this. Okay, so Devilmind says these variables are a piece of cake. All right, so what you need to do is we need to set myString to hello. So what we would do is replace none. Whoops. We replace the word none, and then put in myString. Summerella and Drea have completed the exercise. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, everyone. Sorry, I default to calling people guys. It's a habit of mine that I'm trying to break. Please bear with me. Okay, so my float has to be equal to 10.0, and my float needs to be equal to, and my int needs to be equal to 20. So just put in these variables here and then run it. It's the wrong, it's not, oh, it should say hello. Wait, hold on. My string has to be equal to hello. Wait, what's mine? My string was my string. Okay, sorry. I did that wrong. It has to say hello. Okay, and then run it, and then that's it. Okay, let's see. We also have Layla Foster is done. Great job, guys. All right, so let's move on to the quiz. So part 2, variables and types quiz. Which of the following about naming variables is true? So we didn't really go over this, but let's go over how we should be naming our variables. So which about naming variables here is true? So A, Python keywords should never be used as variable names. Stuff like class, def, true, false, none. We should not use these as variable names. B, using single letter variable names, X, Y, A, B, we need to use those as much as possible. C, variables that contain numbers should be named in uppercase letters, and variables with text should be named in lowercase letters. Or D, none of the above. So give what you think is the correct answer for this question in the chat, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, Drea says A. I'll wait for a couple more answers to come in. Okay, Hachi and Layla Foster also say A. Well, the answer is A. So definitely what you need to keep in mind when you're naming your variables is that you should never use Python keywords like class, def, true, false, none. You shouldn't use these as variable names because Python is going to see that and then it's going to mess up. Let's take a look at an example. So if I go to JS Linux and I say class equals physics, okay, then it's going to give us an error because class is a keyword inside of Python. So we could say my class instead. And then we could ask it to print my class. And then it's going to say physics. Hachi, did you get the URL for the VM? Let me paste it in chat. So Hachi, you arrived late. You can go use this web-based Linux machine over here, and then after you're in the console over here, you can activate the Python interpreter by just typing in Python over here, and we can play around inside of the Python interpreter in the web-based Linux VM. Okay, so let's move on. So Python keywords should never be used as variable names, and also which of the following is not a Python data type? So we're talking about data types. Which of these is not a Python data type? Strings, integers, floats, and HackerFrogs. So Dre says that the answer is D. Layla Foster says the answer is D. Okay, so HackerFrogs, the folks who like hacking and live streams, this is not a Python data type. Python data types are stuff like strings, which are letters or combination of letters and numbers encased in single double quotes. Integers, whole numbers, such as 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 3, 7, and 256. And floats, floating point numbers, which are numbers with decimal points, such as 0.0, 5.28, 285, and 3.16. Okay. All right. So let's move on. We finished part 2, and we're moving on to part 3, which is lists. Okay, so let's mark our workshop progress. We've finished 2 out of 4. All right. Okay, so we're talking about lists, and this is going to be the kind of heavy portion of the workshop because lists are kind of a big thing in Python. So lists are part of what Python categorizes as collections, variables that hold one or more values, which can be strings, numbers, or a mixture of different data types. Lists are a data type in Python, just so you guys know. So an example list in Python could look like the following. Okay, so we have vegetables equals carrots, lettuce, and beets, or related to pi could be round 3.14. Oh, it's 3. Sometimes I forget the value of pi. Okay, and delicious. So as you can see by the example, a list is defined as a number of objects separated by commas between a pair of square brackets. Okay, so this is an example of a list. So if we were to, I'm going to copy this and put it in chat so you guys can play around. Okay, and then we can go to JS Linux, and we can paste this in by right-clicking and then selecting paste. Okay, so this is going to define the vegetables list. So the vegetables list is in there, and then we can print vegetables. So, and it's going to return to us carrots, lettuce, and beets between the square brackets like this. Okay, so let's take a look at what else we can learn about lists. So the next thing we'll talk about are list methods. So methods are stuff we can do with specific types of objects, right? And since lists are a data type in Python, then we can use specific methods to do operations on lists. Methods are actions that can be performed with objects. Okay, so here we have our vegetables list, and then we can do the method vegetables.append, and the append method is going to add an item to the list, and we can add radishes to the list. And then when we print it, then the list is going to include the radishes. Okay, so I'm gonna, oh, I can't, that's not text, that's an image. So vegetables.append radishes. I'm just gonna type it in chat for you guys. Should use single quotes. Okay, so if you guys want to do this, sorry, if you guys want to add this to the to your interpreter over here, of course you have to right click to paste. Let's try that again. Okay, so vegetables.append radishes is going to add an item to the vegetables list. Okay, and then we can try printing it again. I wonder if you can do, yeah, we can. So just like in the bash command line, you can go up and down with your arrow keys to recall previous commands. So if we print the vegetables now, we see that radishes have been added to the list. First we had just these 3, and now we added the radishes. Okay. So methods are performed by indicating the name of the object, which is the list, and then a dot, and then the name of the method, followed by a pair of parentheses, which contain any arguments that are required for that method. So vegetables is the name of the list, and then .append, which is the name of the method, and then in between the parentheses we have to put the argument, which in this case is radishes. If anybody wants me to explain any of the keywords or concepts, anything that I'm talking about, if you don't understand what a particular word means, please let me know. Then we can explain it for a little bit. So the list method we will learn in this workshop is the append method. All right, so we're learning append. There are several different There's several different methods for lists. The append method will add an item to the end of the specified list. So say we have a list of friends. We have Alex and Barb, and then friends.append Carl. We add to our list of friends, and then we would get this. So I'm going to leave this, I'm going to paste this code in, so you guys can try it out inside of the, no more ads, please. Okay, so over here in the script, we can try pasting this in. So we've got our friends, Alex and Barb, and then friends.append Carl, and then print the friends, and then all three of our friends should appear. So we run this, and then the output is Alex, Bob, and Carl. Okay, so everybody try this out. If you manage to print out the list of free friends just like this, please type in chat, "I've got friends," smiley face. So the script once more is friends equal Alex and Barb, and then we friends append Carl, and then we print the friends, and then we get 3 friends. Okay, Hachi's got friends. Awesome. Okay, so while we're waiting for the rest of for everybody else to finish the exercise, let's move on. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be talking about is list indexing. So what is list indexing? List indexing allows for the selection of specific items in a list by referring to them by the position in which they appear in the list. Okay, Devilmind has also got friends, smiley face. Dre S has friends, smiley face. To use list indexing, we're going to use the name of the list directly followed by a pair of square brackets with the position of the desired list item inside the brackets. For example, so we have trees. So this list of trees, we've got a pine, an elm, and a cedar tree. Okay, so if we print trees, and then the brackets, and then 0, we're referring to one specific item in the trees list. Okay, Layla Foster has got friends, Summerella's got friends, Devilmind, Hachi, okay, we've all got friends. Nice to see. All right, the output here, if we print trees, square bracket 0, it should be pine, since pine is the first item on the list. We have to note that counting positions in indexing start from 0 and not 1. In this example, trees 2 refers to cedar, since cedar is the number 2 item on the list if we count from 0. So 0, 1, 2. So we've got these trees. I'll paste this into the chat so we can play around. Whoops, let me copy this as well. So in our JS Linux, we can paste this in. Okay, and then we want to print, say we want to print elm. So if we're counting from 0, elm is the first item, the number 1. Sorry, not the first, the number 1 item on the list. So this is number 0, this is number 1, this is number 2. So if we print trees with the square brackets with 1, then we get elm. If we print it with 0, we get pine. 2 is Cedar, and if we try number 3, then it's going to tell us that the list index is out of range. That's an error message. Okay. All right, so next. So let's cover the next few exercises on the learnpython.org website. So we're going to go through the list section on the learnpython.org website. Here, we can just click on next tutorial at the bottom of the page. I'm going to paste in the link for you guys. Okay, so we're here and we're talking about lists. So lists are very similar to arrays. It's funny that they don't talk about arrays first when they say that they're similar to arrays. They can contain any type of variable, and they can contain as many variables as you wish. Lists can be iterated over in a very simple manner. Okay, so here we're starting with an empty list. So if you define a list and you just put in the square brackets, that means the list is going to be empty. So here, to the list, they're going to use the append method, and they're going to do 1, 2, and 3, which add the numbers 1, 2, and 3 to the list. And then they're going to print out the numbers at item 0, and they're going to print item 1 and then item 2, which prints 1, 2, 3.
Let's say I'm a biology student working on a research paper.
And then, oh, I've got ads. Hold on. I need to reset my music playlist. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so also here it says for X in my playlist, we want to print X. This is an example of a loop. This is a for loop, and we're going to be covering loops in another workshop, but just know that this is going to print out every item in the list. Okay, so when we click run here, it prints out 1, 2, 3, because these print statements here are going to print out these items over here, 1, 2, 3, and then this loop right over here is going to print as well. So it's going to print X, where X is equal to the number, and it's going to print each one of these. So that's why it says 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 over here. Okay, so next. Let's see. Devilmind says, "Can we swap items order?" So I'm not sure. I haven't really dealt too much with swapping the order of items, but let's ask ChatGPT really quick. Which method in Python can be used to swap the order of items in a list? Okay, so it looks like you can do so with the reverse method, but it seems a bit complicated for what we're teaching right now. But definitely feel free to type this in ChatGPT or in your favorite search engine of choice, and it'll probably tell you exactly how to do it. But it looks like it is possible. Okay, so what are we doing? So accessing an index which does not exist generates an error. So here we're trying to access the 10th item in my list, but there are not 10 items in the list, so it's going to give us an error. So list index out of range. Okay. So so before we move on, Devilmind's question has pointed out that I don't know everything about Python, which is kind of embarrassing, but but we're here to learn, and I'm here to teach you specific things about Python, and anything that I don't know about Python, I can look up. And we're here to learn about some fundamentals, and I hope you're patient with me if there's anything I don't know, and we can all try to find the answers together. Okay, so we've arrived at the exercise for this section here. And in this exercise, you need to add numbers and strings to the correct list using the append list method. You must add the numbers 1, 2, and 3 to the numbers list. and the words hello and world to the strings variable. Okay, so we're using the append. You will also have to fill in the variable's second name with the second name in the names list using the brackets operator. Note that the index is 0 base, so if you want to access the second item in the list, its index will be 1. Okay, so here, let's solve the exercise and let's go over the instructions one more time. So using the append list method, you have to add the numbers 1, 2, and 3 to the numbers list and the words hello and world to the strings variable. So we have the numbers list over here, we have the strings list over here, and we have the names list right here. So what I would suggest is that we're going to do numbers.append, okay? And then we're also going to do strings.append. Okay, so try to solve the exercise by adding the numbers, adding the items to the numbers in the strings list, and then second name, you're going to define this as the second item in the names list over here. So give it a go. If you manage to finish this, I want you to type in the word list master and then some smiley faces. So remember, all you need to do is add, so 1, 2, 3, so append 1, 2, 3 to numbers list and hello and world. Okay, so here we're going to append 3 times, and the strings list we're going to append twice, and then we're going to set this one over here. So numbers we're adding 3 things, strings we're adding 2 things, and then second name, we're going to reference the second name in the names list. So I'm going to start slowly I'm going to start slowly completing the exercise. So numbers.append, okay? That's 1. All right, so the first person to complete the exercise is DevilMind. All right, DevilMind, good job. All right, so the number is 1, 2, and 3 over here. And remember that we're trying to append the words hello and world to the strings variable. So of course, because we're appending strings, we need to include, we have to encase the input inside of either single quotes or double quotes. Hello. Okay, Hachi is list master, great. Layla Foster is a list master, that's great. Okay, so maybe you might have found it a little bit tricky to define this one over here. So second name, what we need to do here is we need to do names and then put inside of square brackets. We need to reference this second item. So this is, remember that we count from 0. So this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. So it's names 1 over here. Okay, Layla Foster is a list master, Summerella is a list master. Great, great, great. Okay, so let's run the solution here. this is what I was talking about. Sometimes it takes a little while to spin up over here, and sometimes it's going to hang and it's not going to respond. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this over here, and then I'm going to reload the page. And then I'm going to paste it in, and then I'm going to run the solution. Okay, it says 1, 2, 3, hello world, and then the second name on the names list is Eric. Okay, great, great, great. All right, so that is, before we end the section, let's answer one question. Which of the following statements about Python lists is true? Okay, so which one is true? So take a look at the options on the screen, and then type in the chat which one you think is true. And I'm going to update the workshop progress. Okay, Devilmind has the answer. Gina Griffin has typed in an answer. Hatchie has written an answer. Layla Foster, answer. Okay, great, great. Let's go over which one of these is true. So, when printing a list, all items in the list must be created. This is not true. You can print individual items from the list. It's not possible to add items to a list after the list creation. We know that we can use the append method, so this is not the answer. Counting items in a list starts from 0, not 1. So this is the correct answer. So the last one, items in a list cannot be changed after they've been added. So items can be changed after they've been added. We didn't necessarily go over it, but they can be changed. Okay, so let's go over let's do the final section. Let's do the final section of today's workshop. We're talking about basic operators. So in programming terms, operators are used to perform an operation on a piece of data. In this lesson, we will learn about basic arithmetic operators that are used for mathematical addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, and a couple of others. So Python uses the following operators for basic arithmetic. So this is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and exponentiation. And these are the symbols in Python for those operations. And some examples over here. All right, so if you have any questions about these, please type them in the chat, but I'm gonna move on. The arithmetic operators that occur in Python follow the PEMDAS order of operations. So if you remember from way back in elementary school, PEMDAS is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. In summary, all operations enclosed in parentheses are performed, then all exponent operations followed by multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction operations at the end. So given the following equation in Python syntax, so we have this equation right here. I'll paste this in the chat for you guys. Okay. So the first thing that happens is the division operation inside of the parentheses is performed. Then the exponent operation, 2 to the second power, which is 2 **2, which is Python syntax for 2 to the second power, is resolved. And then third, the multiplication, 2 times 4, is resolved. And then fourth, the division, 8 divided by 4, is resolved. Fifth, the addition is resolved. And finally, the subtraction is resolved, which sets our final result to 0. So if we take this particular mathematical equation and we put it into JS Linux, whoops, we need to paste. And we want to print out this answer, so we need to encase everything here inside of parentheses. So print this is going to give 0. And it performs the mathematical operations in the order that we were just talking about. So print, and then inside the parentheses we can paste. Whoops, paste. It doesn't feel like pasting. Okay, all right. So remember, inside of the JS Linux over here, you have to use, you have to right-click in order to copy and paste stuff. All right, so next. Oh, we're talking about modulo. A common operator used in programming is the modulo operator, which is represented by this % sign right here. So a modulo operation returns the remainder after one number is divided by another. The resulting number after a modulo operation is called the modulus. So here, 5 modulo 2 is equal to 1, because 5 divided by 2 is 2 remainder 1. So the modulus is 1. And here, 8 modulo 5 is equal to modulus 3, because 8 divided by 5 is 1, and the remainder is 3. Okay. So a typical use for the modulo operation is to determine whether a number is even or odd by performing a modulo operation on it with the number 2. If the number is 1, then the number is odd. And if the result is 0, then the number is even. So let's go over the basic operations exercise in learnpython.org. Okay, so this is learnpython.org. I really like it because there's you can do interactive Python stuff with it. The only problem is that there's a lot of ads on the website. I guess that's what happens when you have something for free. So I'm going to paste in the link for you guys. Okay. So arithmetic operators, just as other programming languages, the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division operators can be used with numbers. So here we have got an example here. So it's 1 plus 2 times 4 equals, man, I forgot my PEMDAS again. So it's division, and then this is why we have calculators, guys. So run this, and the result is 2.5. All right, so try to predict the answer. Does Python follow the order of operations? Well, the great thing about computers is that they know how to do math. Another operator available is the modulo operator, so we were just talking about that, which returns the integer remainder of division. So dividend modulo divisor equals remainder. Okay, so 11 modulo 3, math. I think the remainder, the result is going to be 2. So because 3 times 3 is 9, and then the remainder is 2. All right, I managed to do simple mathematics. I'm super proud of myself. All right, next, using 2 multiplication symbols makes a power relationship. So if we want to get the square of something, we have to use this number, this symbol right here, which represents exponentiation, and then the exponent number is this. So it's 7 to the power of 2, and this is 2 to the power of 3. So we print these. Okay, double mind. Gina Griffin says, I feel that calculators are our friends. Well, this is why we invented computers, because computers are a lot better at doing math than we are. Okay, so 7 squared is 49, and 2 cubed is 8. That's great. All right, so we can also use operators. We can also use operators with strings. So we can do hello world, which is hello plus space plus world. So this is one string. this is another string, and this is a third string. Okay, so we print hello world, just like this. It says hello world, but if we don't add the space, then it's just going to be hello world all squished together, like this. Oh, wait, go back up. But if we want a space in between, then we need to add a space ourselves manually, just like this. All right, so Python also supports multiplying strings to form a string with a repeating sequence. So if we wanted to just print hello world a bunch by using the multiplication operator, then we can do it like this. So lots of hellos is going to be equal to hello times 10. So if we print that variable, it's just going to be hello printed over and over again, 10 times, we assume. All right, so we can do strings with multiplication, and we can also do strings. We can also do strings and with addition. But if you remember from earlier in today's workshop, we can't do strings with numbers unless you make it a string first. Okay, we can also use operators with lists. Lists can be joined with the addition operator. Okay, so we've got our even numbers in a list here, and we've got our odd numbers in a list here, and all numbers is going to be the odd numbers and the even numbers. And if we print that, it's going to print this. I think it's going to print it all in a single list. So if we run it, so what order did they put this in? So it's going to be the order of the first list it's given, which is odd numbers, and then everything in the even numbers list, which is these numbers. So it's these numbers and then these numbers. Awesome, okay. So just like strings, Python supports forming new lists with repeating sequences using the multiplication operator. So here, we're going to print this number list 1, 2, 3 times 3. So is this going to give us the list? It's going to give us the list 3 times. It's not going to multiply the numbers inside the list, because it wouldn't work if this list didn't have numbers. So it's just going to give us this list 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah. If I decided to put some strings in here, string, more string, and even more string, then it's going to print out these strings a bunch of times. Yeah, just like this. Okay. All right, so we've arrived at, this is not the last exercise for tonight, but it's the last exercise for this section over here. So, okay, so the target of the exercise is to create 2 lists called xlist and ylist, which contain 10 instances of the variables x and y, respectively. You are also required to create a list called the big list, which contains the variables of x and y 10 times each by concatenating the 2 lists that you've created. Okay, so this might seem like kind of a complicated exercise, but let's try breaking it down one task at a time. Okay, so we're going to create 2 lists, x list and y list. So x list over here and y list over here, and it's going to have 10 instances of the variables x and y. So we have to find some way to have this list contain 10 of this x, 10 of this x object over here, and the y list is going to have 10 of the y object, and then the big list, which is the x list and the y list put together. Okay, so guys, I want you to give it a try. We'll start. I'll give you guys about a minute, and then I'll start slowly filling in the code to finish the exercise. And when you're finished, why don't you type in the word "math is fun," exclamation point, and then a bunch of smileys when you're finished. Okay. All right, so everybody, I want you guys to know that that math is definitely not my strong suit. I went to school to be a visual artist, and I did a lot of portraits while I was at university. But one thing about cybersecurity is that there's going to be math involved, which is a good thing that we can get computers to do the math for us. But try solving the challenge yourself, and in about a minute, I'll start slowly answering filling out the script. Is anybody here? Oh, Hachi got it. Hachi says math is fun. Okay, great. Is anybody here watching on Twitch? Just a question. I've got some people who watch on both YouTube and watch on Twitch. I'm just wondering if we have any Twitch viewers in the chat. Devilmind says math hurts. Math hurts. Okay. Does that mean you're finished? I'm not sure. Okay. So let's try slowly solving this. Okay. So we want 10 instances of the X list. So it's going to be X, and then I think we can multiply that by 10. Summerella says math is fun. Drea says math is fun. Okay. The Y list we can do by multiplying it by 10. And the big list is going to be X and Y 10 times each by concatenating the two lists. Okay, so it's going to be, the big list is going to be X list plus Y list. And let's give this a go. Gina Griffin gives us our laughing smiley face. Well, I appreciate that. Okay, so all right. So X list contains 10 objects. We did so with the multiplication, and so is the Y list. And the big list we created by combining the X list and the Y list. Okay. All right. So we've moved on. We're gonna move on to the quiz. There's only one question for this quiz. Which of the following methods will allow us to print a string and an integer with the same print function? So this is something that comes up when people are learning Python. Can we print numbers and can we print integers and strings with the same print function? Okay, so look over at the answers over here and tell us what you think the answer is. Okay, Lena has supplied an answer. So has DoubleMind. Hachi has as well. Okay, let's go over the answer. So, I wonder what would happen if we asked ChatGPT how we print a string and an integer with the same print function. Okay, to print a string and an integer together with the print function, you can use the string formatting or fstring feature. Oh, that's interesting. So we can use this method right here, or this one. Huh, it didn't use my method. Okay, so my method of printing strings, and so number equals 1, string equals, oh sorry, my string equals string, and we would print that with print, let's see, str, so this is a function, and we use, and then we add my string. And this should print out 1 and then string. So that's what it does. Okay. All right, so before we finish today's workshop, let's write a program that uses some of the concepts we learned. So we're going to use one of the Python windows on the website to write the following program. A sandwich restaurant owner wants a program that calculates and prints out the total price of customers' orders. The menu only consists of 2 items, sandwiches that cost $3.50 and soft drink cans which cost 99 cents. The program should print out 2 totals corresponding with the following customer's order. Order 1 is 3 sandwiches and 3 soft drinks, and order 2 is 7 sandwiches and 6 soft drinks. The program should contain at least 2 variables with values equal to the prices of the 2 menu items. So we'll go over a following possible version of this program after this, but please write your own attempt at the program now. Remember that order 1 is 3 sandwiches and 3 soft drinks, and order 2 is 7 sandwiches and 6 soft drinks. Remember that sandwiches are going to be, the price is going to be $3.50, and soft drinks, the price is going to be 99 cents, 0.99. And what we want is for us to print out the price for order 1 and order 2. Okay, so we can start. So I'm just going to leave this on the screen for a little bit. While you guys try using the Python, one of the Python windows on the Learn Python website to make your script. So in about a minute, I'm going to start slowly creating the script that answers this particular program. Oh, sorry guys. If you manage to run your program and it prints out the total of order 1 and order 2, please type in sandwich and sandwich king. How about sandwich queen, sandwich king or sandwich queen, whatever you like. Sandwich kings and queens. So I'm going to copy all of these details over here and put them in the chat, because I'm momentarily going to be moving on from this screen. Okay, so inside of my Python interpreter here, I'm gonna start writing some code. So sandwich. So Devilmind is a sandwich king and queen. So sandwich royalty. Oh, I should have said sandwich royalty. That would have been much better. Okay, so sandwich price is this, and drink price is this. And then order 1 is going to be sandwich price times 3 plus drink price. So it's sandwich price and drink price, like this, and order 2 is going to be sandwich price times 7, and drink times 6, and then we're going to print order 1, and then order 2. Okay, so this might have tripped some people up. So what we need to do if we want to multiply a variable, and then we're going to add it to another variable, is that we need to encase this in a parentheses in order for this to be isolated before we add it to this this subtotal right here. So everybody, if you managed to print out your 2 orders, then you are sandwich royalty. If you didn't, then that's fine. That's part of the learning process. I should have explained about this particular piece of the operation before I set you guys off on this exercise. But I'll remember to do that the next time I teach this. Sorry about that. All right, so this is if you guys want, you can try this out in your own terminals. I'm just going to paste it into the chat for you guys. So this is we're coming on the end of today's workshop, but before we go, let's go over a summary. So we wrote the Hello World program in Python, which is the first program students write for any computer language. We learned how to use the Python print function, which prints information to the console and is common to almost all programs written in Python. We learned about programming variables, named storage locations, which hold specific values, which can be referenced multiple times in a program. We learned about data types, including strings, integers, and floats. We learned about lists, which are variables with one or more items associated with them. Items in the list can be referenced by a process called list indexing. And the last thing we learned in this workshop is Python basic operators, which are used to perform arithmetic operations. Okay, so in the next HackerFrogs After School programming workshop, we'll continue learning Python with the learnpython.org website. Okay, so in the next workshop, we're going to be covering the following topics. We're going to talk about string formatting. We're going to cover basic string operations, and we're going to talk about conditions. All right, so all that and more in next week's HackerFrogs After School Python programming workshop. So we've come on the end of today's. Whoops! I shouldn't have done that. We've come on the end of today's workshop. Before you go, everybody, what I need you to do is help fill out the survey, which has been supplied by Black Girls Hack, and lets everybody there know how I'm doing as far as teaching these workshops is concerned. I take feedback very seriously, and I'm very passionate about becoming a better instructor. If you guys have any feedback, whether it be positive or negative, please fill out the survey and let them know, and then they'll let me know. I'd like to remind everybody, Dilmon says, you got this. Well, thank you for the vote of confidence. Right now, I'd like to let everybody know that I run a YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/theshyhat. I'll leave that in the chat, and we're trying to get as many people to watch our streams as possible. And I'd also like to everybody to know that we also have all of our follow-along videos for the HackerFrogs After School workshops on this channel. We have our green series of videos on web app hacking. We have our blue series of videos on Python programming, which is what we're doing right now. And we have our red series of videos on Linux OS operations, which we just finished last week. Let's see. Gina Griffin says, great session. Well, thank you very much, Gina. I really appreciate that coming from another educator. Yeah. Okay, so if you guys want to help me out, you can always watch the videos, give them a like, and leave a comment. This is how we let the YouTube algorithm know that what we're looking at is worth other people's attention and time as well. All right, so we'll be back next week where we're going to be continuing on with our Python programming journey. But until then, we're going to be finishing out the stream pretty soon. If anybody has any questions about Python programming or cybersecurity or any other topic, please type in the chat, and I'll try to address your questions or comments before we close out the stream. So if you guys want to get into the whole lifestyle of cybersecurity, there are a couple of podcasts that I can recommend. There's Darknet. There's Darknet Diaries. Darknet. There's Darknet Diaries, which is a great podcast from Jack Resider, and they have a bunch of episodes about different hacker and cybersecurity stories. This is what really got me interested in cybersecurity when I first started my journey to cybersecurity back at the beginning of COVID, I guess. And there's also Smashing Security podcast, which is another podcast which is more of a humorous take on cybersecurity. They talk about cybersecurity news, but they also try to inject as much humor as they can while they're talking about it, because talking about cybersecurity can get very serious and very not fun very fast if all you're talking about is people getting hacked. To anybody here, if you want to tell me what job role you're trying to get into as far as cybersecurity education is concerned, you can let me know in the chat, because I'm curious about what everybody wants to do inside of cybersecurity after they're done with their education. What I'm trying to do with HackerFrogs After School is to introduce people to different topics inside of cybersecurity, because a lot of people don't exactly know what they want to do inside of cybersecurity. They have an idea that they want to get into the industry. What HackerFrogs After School tries to do is we're trying to introduce students to a number of different topics, which might help them narrow down what kind of job roles they're looking for inside the industry. Especially, we have a video on our website, which is how to get into cybersecurity, and we talk about exploring different job roles within the industry before trying to get training. Okay, so Summerella wants to be a cloud security engineer. That is a very up and coming job role inside of cybersecurity, because cloud is everywhere, and people who know specifically about cloud cybersecurity or cloud security are going to be in high demand. They're in high demand right now, actually. All right, so we've gone on for a bit longer than I would have expected, but thank you everybody for coming to the workshop. Of course, like I said before, we'll be back next Monday. It's going to be February, what is it going to be? It's going to be February 5th. But until then, everybody have a great... Oh, one more thing. We have a subreddit. So it's reddit.com/r/hackerfrogs. If you're interested in talking about your cybersecurity journey, or talk about where to get more information about specific topics in cybersecurity, go ahead and post over there, and we will all talk about it. All right, so Devilmind and Gina Griffin, thank you for the compliments. We'll be back next week, but until then, have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.